What's going on, everybody? I'm Dylan. I run Quest for Nostalgia. I teach you guys how I make all my 3D printed props, whether that be Power Ranger armor and things like that, the Buster sword. But in this video, I'm going to teach you how I made Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber from Star Wars Episode 1. I love the way this thing came out, and I'm super excited to teach you guys how to make your own. So let's get into this video. So that's actually the second lightsaber that I've done. The first one I did was before I was getting into 3D printed videos and tutorials, and I did the Jedi Fallen Order lightsaber here for Cal Kestis. I absolutely love this thing as well. This one was a lot more of like miniature painting style techniques to get this done, but man, I love the way that this lightsaber came out. But I'll be honest, I'm an episode 1 fan. I know some people hate on episode 1. I still have my little scanner here from all the action figures. I love pod racing. I mean, I'm just a huge Star Wars fan in general. I've got so many Star Wars things up there. I got all of my Legos, so many different staple ships and different things like that. But yeah, I actually really loved episode 1. It was my Star Wars. You know, growing up, it was the one that was released in theaters for me. And so it's just something that always has a special place in my heart. And so that battle at the end with Darth Maul and Qui-Gon and, you know, Obi-Wan, I had to make this. I had to make this lightsaber. I got that itch when Obi-Wan came to Disney Plus, and so I decided to make this lightsaber. But that's not the only cool thing to come about from making this lightsaber. If you guys didn't know, I'm getting married this year. You saw my fiance in the White Ranger armor. She was the Pink Ranger there. And so I have to get wedding bands. And so I reached out to Enzo Rings, who makes super cool Star Wars like rubber silicone rings. And so those ones work best for me. So I reached out to them and said, hey, you know, I'm building this lightsaber. Would you guys like to partner up at all? I was going to choose you guys for my wedding bands. You know, would you guys like to do something? They're like, yeah, sure. We'll send you the rings, you know, that'd be great. And so, yeah, I just decided, let's partner up and do this thing. So I got these two sweet rings. I got a green and a red lightsaber. I like to have the gray band and then also a black band for different outfits. The reason why I chose them was because I have these like witch fingers here, right? So it's like my knuckles are super big, but then the fingers are skinny. So normal bands would have to slide over the knuckle, but then they freely spin, right? And it gets really annoying. So having the rubber rings, it really helps me out being able to pass that knuckle, but then be tight on the finger and not feel like I'm going to lose it all the time or that it's just going to continuously be spinning. Another thing is, you see, I do so many projects, right? So I like to have that kind of rubber ring to be able to, you know, not be so afraid of it, to be able to still work on projects and things like that and have a better resilient ring. But yeah, thank you, Enzo Rings. I really appreciate those. I was going to grab those anyway, so having those is just absolutely amazing, and it's going to be super awesome to be able to wear this year. I really appreciate their support of the channel, and if you guys want to support the channel, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things to help me fight that algorithm. Let's get into how I made the lightsaber, right? This is a free file on Thingiverse. A lot of the files that I do, I like to do the free ones so that you guys can learn how to do these. There is so many lightsaber files on Thingiverse. It's crazy, and they're so well done. These are both there. I'll show you the guy that I got these from, and they're amazing. I love the quality of these. So anybody can grab these. You don't have to pay any money for these files, and let's go through how I made this. These are all 3D printed on the FDM printer. So the first thing that I do is 80 grit. 80 grit sandpaper helps me knock down those layer lines really, really easily. I used a popsicle stick with 80 grit just glued to it. You could also use double-sided tape, and I used that to sand in between the blades of that lightsaber. Next is 120 grit. Go through everything down. It's the next layer of defense against those layer lines. I just sand that all down the same steps as before with the regular sandpaper, and then using another file that I made it out of popsicle sticks. After I finished doing the 80 and the 120, then I hit it with filler primer, and that's going to help fill in just some of the small voids that could be in the 3D print. The filler primer does a great job of filling in some of those small holes, but then if you have imperfections like you have here, then I go ahead and I do Bondo glazing putty. So there weren't a lot of imperfections, just put on a glove, take the Bondo glazing putty, and fill in the small areas. Next is 220. I use that to sand down the filler primer and the Bondo glazing putty and get that nice and smooth. With that layer done, I then kind of brush it off, get all the dust off there, and then I hit it with 320 grit to take it to another level of smoothness. Doing a small project like a lightsaber is so nice. You can get through these so fast, and it's just so much less surface area to have to sand down. So with the 320 done, now I'm just going to go ahead and primer it. So I use a flat gray primer for this. With it primed, then I'm going to wet sand because we have so many metallics and want a really nice finish on this. Whenever I do metallics, I like to wet sand, so I use 600 grit in the bathtub and just sanded that all down. Now it's time to actually start painting the colors of this lightsaber. First, I laid down the gloss black. I left it in pieces and sprayed the gloss black pieces, put those to the side, and then that gloss black also is a great base coat for the metallics that are going to come next. So then I use a Rust-Oleum metallic silver, and I paint the pieces that are going to be silver for it. I hand painted the little button red, and you see all the pieces. I used just a kebab stick and stuck that into the foam football. If you haven't seen my helmet stand video, I teach how I make helmet stands, but they're also great to stick those parts into when you need to paint small items. With everything the color that it needs to be, it's time for a 1K clear coat. So I just use the 1K clear coat, and that allows me to keep all my metallics looking nice and give a really nice high shine to the black areas. It looks so good when it's clear coated. I'm so happy with how that came out. This lightsaber is so cool. I'm so pumped to have it. I feel like I have to do Darth Maul's now, but yeah, this one is probably my best finished prop. I mean, as much as I love everything else on that shelf, this thing is just amazing. It just has such a high quality finish to it and just feels perfect. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, if you want to support the channel, like, comment, subscribe, all of the YouTube things. Let me know if you hate episode 1 or if you like Star Wars or anything like that. But yeah, check out the files on Thingiverse. They're free. I love doing free files for you guys so that way you guys can just go ahead and grab them and try them yourselves. But as always, thank you so much. You guys are the backbone of the channel for watching all the way to the end. I love you guys, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.